This is Middle Ground with Wale P.
On this episode, we are talking about, I'm giving you an option to choose one. And these are real life stuff.
Okay.
Which one would you prefer? Married and bored? Single and lonely?
Married and bored.
You prefer married and bored?
What?
Okay, so do you understand the ramifications of being bored?
Yeah. I do.
Okay, so to
But
you now,
in marriage, there are different dimensions
okay,
when it comes to marriage.
okay,
And of recently, I just watched a movie. It's called Sex/Life, and I got to understand more about marriage and why either the male folk or the female folk might be bored.
okay, so why that? Why so?
Okay. Most times in marriage, some men just feel like, okay, I've got to marry to this lady.
On to the next one.
Okay. And
Abi? That's
yeah,
what you mean?
yeah.
Like, I'm married to this one,
Yeah.
I've conquered this one, on to the next one.
Yes.
Okay?
Good. Like just as I said, the movie I watched, it's what normally happens in real life situations right now, because men just get married after their wife have given birth, they move on, they forget how they used to be, how things used to be. I feel in marriages, despite the fact that yes, children and kids have come in, you still need to spicing up the relationship you and your wife have.
Okay, so before we go ahead, I'm going to let you know, I'm going to let people know that Shewin is here.
Hi. Hey.
Yes. And by the way, so this is it. Before we continue on this topic, Shewin, a lot of people were critical about you, but most of them that were critical are like, since you've never paid for an abortion, you've never had an abortion, so why are you now advising about abortion? But don't worry, it's another thing we're going to talk about some other time.
Okay.
Not on this one. So on this one, we are talking about married and bored, single and lonely. And so far, Michael has been speaking to us about, we have another Michael.
Hi.
We have another Michael. Yeah. So, okay, so now go ahead.
Okay.
Michael 1.
Okay, good. Most times in marriages, after the kids come, the man just focus on the kids, getting what the kids need, probably sometimes just giving the wife a little gift and all of that. But is that what she needs?
What do you think she needs?
Most times she
Now,
needs.
remember, what we are targeting here is not being bored
Good.
or how to manage being bored. But remember, you have the option of being lonely also, but that means you'll be single. So which one would you prefer? You be lonely or be bored?
Lonely and bored.
That's it. So this is it. Married and bored, single and lonely.
I prefer to be single and lonely than being married and bored.
But first, you said you prefer to be married and bored. That's what you said earlier. You said you prefer to be married and bored. Now, we were in the conversation of discussing on why does it have to be bored. And you are saying, okay, there are, the man is focusing on home, hustling, right? Hustling, that's the word you want to use. Hustling. And forgetting about the wife.
Okay.
You understand? And to you, that is why there is boredom.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Right now, I think I'm speaking for the two.
No, you can't speak for the two. You need to
Okay.
pick one here. And you need to tell us, it's a hard pick, but you need to settle for one because that's what life throws at you most times.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, me going for the married and bored doesn't mean I'm supporting it. Like,
But usually, in most cases,
yes,
that's how it is.
That's
in
how
fact,
it is.
In fact, couples that have been married for so long will tell you that they found a way around being bored of themselves.
But okay. Now you find a way of being bored of yourself.
No, find a way to deal with being bored of, because there will be that boredom.
Okay.
So how long you stay with each other is your ability to deal with that time of boredom.
But is it everybody that has the ability to deal with that?
So it's either you now settle for being bored or settle for being lonely. So in this case now, as it is, which would you go for?
Wow, this is a hard pick. A very, very hard pick. Being bored or being lonely.
Okay, while you think about it,
Yeah.
Seun, while you were away,
Okay.
he got confused. Michael got confused at a point, and he was saying, because I was trying to explain to him that fine. He's saying, must he be bored? That must there be boredom? And I'm like, well, I have spoken to couples that have been married for a very long time, and
Yeah.
they've said the reason why they've stayed together is they found a way around dealing with that boredom. So I'm letting him understand that eventually that's
actually
what
get
that's
bored.
that you eventually get bored. So which one would you rather be, bored or lonely? Now the loneliness part is this: it's not as if you won't get action.
Good. Now you
will get action.
Now you're putting me into this whole thing, and
You are now understanding. You would get action.
I'll prefer to be alone.
Oh wow!
Oh.
Really? So you're
Yes. I'll prefer to be alone because
You will get action, but the truth is this.
Okay.
You know, action is different from real.
Sure, I know.
So real is when Seun, sorry, you would get into this.
Okay.
I'm actually I like his view. I'm listening to his view really.
Because right now I'm understanding the question. I'll prefer to be alone and have actions. Why do I say that? Because now me getting married, and at the later stage of the marriage I'm now bored. It's not my thing. Like, it's not my kind of
All
thing.
right, Seun, jump in.
I like
Okay.
action, continuous action.
Okay, well,
But here you were saying you would actually prefer being married and bored.
No. Now I'm understanding the question.
You for me, I think it's a very controversial question because it is hard to pick either one or both sides,
True.
and you can't stay on the fence. Because sometimes you're going to be single. You're going to be single and you enjoy it.
Okay.
You enjoy being by yourself. You enjoy making decisions on your own. You enjoy going out and not having to tell anybody, not being accountable to anybody. It comes to being single. Now, when you are married, you have to always, okay, babe, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Okay, you don't come back home. Somebody is already lashing at you. And over time, when there's no excitement, you get bored.
Definitely.
Yeah, so for me, it's hard to choose.
no, okay,
But I would
so
choose single.
okay, so
I
just
love
wait.
that.
Wait. So this is it. So in short, the marriage aspect of these two options is about activity. Make it just they happen. Let that be activity.
Yeah.
As long as there's
Yes.
activity,
Yes.
no boredom, it's a good marriage.
Yeah.
Everybody's good.
So I'm sorry, but really, do
Yeah.
you ever think anything ever goes like this forever?
That's the thing.
So and that's why there's season for everything, and that's why at the point of getting married, when you make those vows, it's forever. Whether it's
till you die, till death do
whether
us
whether
part.
it's bored, whether it's boredom, or
You
whether
have
it's
no choice. You
boydism.
have to be there.
But
You
okay,
have-
let me say something. Now, why do people mostly get married? Like, why do people mostly get
So they
married?
can legally have sex.
legally have sex.
Yes.
And what?
Huh?
And what have
And have kids.
Kids.
No, but then you cannot. It's not about that. I don't think it's just about that because these days you have single parents.
yeah, that's where I'm heading to.
Exactly. So
That's where I'm
I'm not
heading
saying for me. That's why I said they can legally have sex because if you look at it very well, once you're married, Nobody's going to question if you're having sex or if you're not having sex. Nobody's going to look at you with a bad eye. Nobody's going to call you irresponsible because they know you are married. You have a husband. You have a wife. But now when you're having sex, you're philandering around the place, your pastors in church will be like, this one is just doing this, is doing that. You know, you're equally yoked to an unbeliever and all of that. So,
And now, you being married simply means you can legally have sex.
yeah.
And it gets to a point in that marriage and you are bored because there's no action taking place.
Yes,
And
because it's
now-
the same person that you want to have a different taste of a different pie.
But it now takes you outside. You as the man, you might likely go outside to still have sex.
Yes.
So why?
But then you
why
didn't
get-
realize
why-
that
why
the
now,
person
why
that
now
is
get married?
the person that is caught in the act is a thief, yeah?
Good. Yeah, sure, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there are married men who would actually go out of their way to claim being single,
Okay.
claim being lonely, and then use it to deceive ladies in quotes. Meanwhile, they have this wife at home, but because of boredom, they still want to feel and enjoy the single life. So me, I would literally pick being single and lonely than being in a marriage I am not happy about, or being with a man I am not excited to come home to.
Middle ground.